Hallelujah.
Use me, Lord God. Use me, Lord God. Allow me to be your mouthpiece, Lord God. Let every word that comes from my mouth come directly from your mouth, Lord God. And none of my own understanding. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
You may be seated in the presence of the Lord. Now, how many of you all know that this life on earth is nothing more than a series of choices? And every single decision that we make determines if we're going to pass or fail at becoming successful in achieving our dreams and goals, and in the end decide if we will abide in heaven or hell.
Go ahead, Brother Jay.
When making certain decisions, have you ever asked yourself, why am I doing this? Who is influencing me to do this? And whose footsteps am I walking in? Many of the decisions that we make, believe it or not, are based on the outcomes we see others gain from making that same choice. So my next question is the topic for this morning. Is your example directing others to or from Christ?
Oh, Lord. Amen.
Say it again. Is your example directing others to or from Christ?
All right. That is heavy.
And I want to highlight the word example. The word example means a pattern or model, as of something to be imitated or avoided. Now, in order to know what type of example you are, you must first be aware of who you are and the position you're in.
All right.
Then whether you meet the expectations of those responsibilities determines if you're a good or bad one.
All right.
See, in the scripture we see that Nebuchadnezzar had to endure 7 years of chastisement because he failed to humble himself to praise and acknowledge the Lord as the Almighty King. In that time, Nebuchadnezzar was the king of all people, nations, and languages in all the earth. Now, I just want to stop there just to paint a picture. The Bible says he was the king of all people, nations, and languages in the entire earth. Now, I'm not talking about President Obama being the commander-in-chief of little old United States of America. I'm not talking about Vladimir Putin being in charge of little old Russia. It says he was the king of all people, nations, and languages in all the earth. His influence on all of those people was so powerful. Back in those times, whatever the king said went. Whatever decree went forth, it was to come to pass regardless of how you may say, what you may feel, or what you may think. Now, speaking from a man's perspective, I know his pride was on a whole nother level. He didn't acknowledge nobody for what he had, that he thought he had in the palm of his hand. Now, during Nebuchadnezzar's reign of Babylon, he had captured 4 children of Judah that displayed nothing less than true faith in God. Throughout his entire rule, these 4 individuals continuously faced what seemed to be impossible situations while remaining grounded in their faith. Now, before I reveal to you who these 4 individuals are, I got to give you a little bit of history on what was taking place. See, Jerusalem and Jehoiakim, the king of Judah, was given into the hands of Nebuchadnezzar because of the sins that King Manasseh, who was before him, had committed. So the bad example passed down to when he was in control. So because they wanted to act like the enemy, God said, okay, I'm going to give you into the hands of the enemy. But there were 4 individuals who decided that they weren't going to abide by what they wanted them to do, because Nebuchadnezzar brought these children from Judah. It was a multitude of them. He brought these children of Judah so that they could be brought up for 3 years in his ways. Right. He wanted to remove their identity. He wanted to remove who they were. He wanted them to forget who they served and serve him.
Come on, brother. Come on, brother.
He didn't want them to be the same person. He wanted them to blend in with his society. These 4 individuals, their names are Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah.
Yes.
And they were given Babylonian names, which were, Daniel's name was Belteshazzar, Hananiah's was Shadrach, Mishael's was Meshach, and Azariah's was Abednego. He wanted to give them these names so that they could forget. But the Bible tells us that Daniel, he made it a point to stand firm on what he knew and who he knew. He wasn't going to conform, and God blessed him. And because of that example, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah followed. So they all were blessed with wisdom and knowledge and the understanding of our dreams and visions. Now, Daniel did something for Nebuchadnezzar to get him on a higher level than Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah did. So while he was on that next level, it was time for them to step up because they were following him and what he had done. So during this time, Nebuchadnezzar decided that he was going to set up a golden image.
Yes.
And have all of the people, nations, and languages bow down and worship that image.
Come on.
He even made a decree and put it forth that when you hear the sound of all kinds of music, no matter who you are,
yes,
no matter who you may serve, no matter how you may feel, what you may think, you're going to get down on your knees and bow down to this image that I have set up. Not God, but I. So, how many of you know the enemy always want to set up a trap for the people of God? He never want us to do the right thing.
Come on.
Well, see what happened was Nebuchadnezzar got told by some of his servants, the people who did what he said, that there are certain Jews who are disobeying you, who don't even serve you nor worship your God. And he said, okay, bring them here. I'm going to make an example out of them.
Oh, yeah.
He said, the scripture reads that Nebuchadnezzar spake and said to them, is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Do you not serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Now, if you be ready, at what time you hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, you fall down and worship the golden image which I have made. But if you worship not, you will be cast the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. And who is that God?
Come on.
He had the boldness to say, and who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands? And I can just when I read this, I can just picture it in my head how he said it, like you know how your mother, she tells you to do something, and if you don't do it, you get a whooping right afterwards. It's just you could just imagine the facial expression he made, the seriousness in his voice. But Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they just laid back, smiled in his face, and said, "Oh, Nebuchadnezzar, we have no need to answer you in this matter.
That's right.
If it be so, our God whom we serve is able
Come on, brother.
to deliver you, to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace. And he will deliver us out of thy hand." But that's not the kicker. They even went on to say, but if it be known that if it's not in God's will that he will not save us, we still won't get down and worship.
That's it right there.
Psalms 141:4 says, "Incline not my heart to any evil thing, to practice wicked works with men that work iniquity, and let me not eat of their dainties." See, regardless if they were going to be killed or not, they were going to stand firm on what they knew and who they knew.
That's right.
God brought them through so much. They faced death way before this. 2 more times before this, but instead they decided to stand firm on God.
Amen.
So, like I said, in my mind, I just be picturing it. And it's just that Nebuchadnezzar, I could just see his face turning red and steam coming from his ears. And he said, he ordered the mightiest men of his army to bind them up and cast them into the furnace, while turning the furnace seven times hotter than what it was supposed to be. The fire was so hot that when these men grabbed up Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego and threw them in there, that they didn't even touch the fire but were killed by it.
Yeah.
Now, this is what Nebuchadnezzar did. He feel good about himself. He like, yeah, I just made an example. All of these people just seen me to destroy these people who wanted to do what I didn't want to do what I told them to do.
So you thought.
So he looking in the fire. He like, went over to his servant. He like, can we throw 3 people in the fire?
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, we threw 3 people in the fire.
So how come
So he like,
something's wrong. Come on, fix it, brother.
I gotta be tripping.
Paint that picture. Paint that picture, brother. Paint it.
I see 4 people walking in the midst of the fire loose. And he goes on to say that the form of the 4th is like the Son of God.
Yeah.
Now, if you can't shout right there, I don't know what.
All right.
I don't think you all understand what was taking place. Nebuchadnezzar didn't know God. He never seen him. Didn't even worship him, but he can look and see, that's the Son of God. How powerful can you be to where you don't even know somebody, but they can see you and know that you are the Son of God.
Amen.
Yeah.
So then the story goes on to say that Nebuchadnezzar called them out of the fire. And they walked out of the fire, and all of the people seen that they were unharmed. They didn't even have the smell of fire on them.
Oh, Lord.
Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who have sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him, and have changed the king's word and yielded their bodies, that they might not serve nor worship any god except their own God. Therefore I make a decree that every people, nation, and language which speak anything amiss against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut in pieces, and their houses shall be made a dunghill, because there is no other God that can deliver after this story.
That's my God. Oh, Lord.
That's the God that we serve.
Yes, sir.
Now, what if they had allowed their flesh to take control? What if they would have decided to save their own lives?
Yes.
They didn't even know what was going to happen, but they spoke it into the atmosphere. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Because of their example, they changed the king's word. They changed his mind. They converted him.
Yes.
My Lord.
And before I conclude, I just want to share a testimony of a young man that also was called to be an example for God, but instead decided to do things his own way. Here it is, you have a young man that was raised to believe in God since birth. His family believed he would grow up to be something special in the world due to his exceptional intellect and interest in God that he showed at a very young age. By the age of 4, he was reciting scriptures word for word in front of a multitude of people. But as he got older, his interest in God started to fade. See, what had happened was, instead of wanting to continue to see that light, he was more attracted to those around him that were wearing the shades of the world. They looked cool to him. So he decided to get his own pair. And while they were on, he could still see the light. but the darkness was more visible. And as the years went by, the decisions he made seemed to give the tint of those glasses a darker version after every wrong choice until he was finally blinded to the light.
Yes. Yes.
Then one day he decided to take those shades off and saw that light he once knew that never ceased to shine. But he was so accustomed to living in a blinded state that he had ended up putting those shades right back on. Then the unthinkable happened. That blind young man walked right into his own death, but managed to survive with severe wounds. The doctor said he was blind, but God said those shades are broken.
Yes, God.
And now you can see.
Yes.
See, you have to understand what happened when this young man took his glasses off, and he didn't just take his glasses off and just rest.
Come on.
He got down on his knees and said, Lord, forgive me for everything that I have done. I'm turning my life over to you. But when he took those shades off, he made that request to the Lord. He told the Lord what he wanted to do. He asked him to make him an example. He told him to take him away from the people who were influencing him to do things that he know he shouldn't be doing, but to turn him around so that he can turn them around. But because he put those shades back on, God said, okay, I saw your heart when you prayed to me.
Right.
I saw your heart when you prayed to me. Now, even though you went back and turned your back to me and went to go live the same way that I told you to turn away from, that you told me you was going to turn away from, I'm going to answer your prayer. But I'm going to answer it according to your lifestyle. I'm going to answer your prayer, but I'm going to answer it according to your lifestyle. See, this young man is me. I was so hard-headed that I didn't want to listen to God. I didn't want to do the things that he wanted me to do. My flesh had so much control over me that I didn't know this power that's inside of me. So we had to allow a situation to happen to knock me upside the head, to let me know, son, if you continue to do this, you are going to die. Your end will not be with me. It will be in a place where I will continue to weep because you are not here. When I tried to call you out.
Come on.
There is no excuse to not serve God. There is no excuse. I don't care if you got anger issues. Moses had anger issues. I don't care if you're sleeping around. David slept around. I don't care if you're an alcoholic. Noah was an alcoholic. There is no excuse to serve God. No excuse. Well, I want to say that my excuse was always, I'm too young. Age was my excuse. I used it all the time. Like, okay, I can do what I want to do while I'm young, living life. When really I was living death, but that's a whole nother topic. But I just want to share another testimony of just what happened last week. If any of y'all know, well, for those of you who don't know, I have an 11-month-old pit bull by the name of Storm, and she's not a dog, she's my daughter. I tell anybody, I take care of her like she's my daughter. She's family to me. And me and Brother Bruce were on the phone, and we were talking about I said Storm be praying and stuff before she eat her treats, and he was like, she's not going to heaven, Justin. And I'm like, I got angry because I was like, I said, yes, she is going to heaven. Even if she not running around with me, she going back to God. She is going to heaven one way or another. And while we were arguing about this, he even got his wife in on it, and they both just telling me off, and I'm just standing firm, but I just hear Amari, his 4-year-old son named Amari, just in the background, just making noise, and it would just put on my heart to tell him, like, Bruce, ask Amari what he got to say. just ask him what he got to say. He's 4. I know what he gonna say. He gonna say that he's going to heaven. But I just wanted him to ask him. So he finally just asked Amari. He said, Amari, I don't know if he said Storm or Dog, but he said, where would Storm or a dog go when they die? And Amari came out of his mouth. He was playing, just like he was doing what he wanted to do, and he just stopped to answer his father. And Bruce said you had to see the expression on his face, how serious he was. He said, when dogs die, they stay down here. They start off with Jesus. But when they get down to earth and they die, they stay down here. And I just knew he was telling the truth. That's what God can do. A 4-year-old saying that out of his mouth. And for me in my spirit, how stubborn I was, not even listening to those that are above him, God can use anybody. Amen. 1 Corinthians 11:1 says, Paul said, be you followers of me, even as I also am of Christ. See, we can't follow these other examples out here. We can't do what they try to show us to do on the media. We can't riot like they are in Ferguson. I guarantee you, if all of those people who are rioting were praying, we would have never seen that on the media. But I'm just up here to tell you all that I'm an example. I'm an example to you all. When you have that fear of the Lord, when you have that urge in your spirit to not be a statistic or to not fall to the traps of the enemy, God will make you a better person than who you are. He will make you new. He will provide everything for you. I have no worries. I don't even have a job, but
It's all right.
I have no worries.
Come on, boy.
No worries. So I encourage you all to just
Chill out.
be followers of Christ. Don't count on the pastor. Don't count on the people in the church. Don't count on the choir, because they will disappoint you, but Christ won't. Follow Christ as they are following Christ. And when you see that person getting off track, say something to them and minister to those around you. You do not want. I'm serious, since you don't want that blood in your hands on Judgment Day. Amen. To where what you did have an impact on them and they are in hell because of your example. So I just encourage you all to just be examples of Christ in Jesus' name. In Jesus' name.
Reverend Black. That's a wrap, folks. That's a wrap. Anytime, B. It's a wrap. Look at him. Check him out.
Give God a shout of
That's my
praise.
mother. Look at.
Give God a shout of praise.
Hallelujah.
Give God